Well, hi, welcome. My name is Jeremy. I'm the pastor of Mosaic. And one of the things that we like to say at Mosaic is that we are for Dubai. We want to help people grow in their relationship with Jesus, but we also are for our community. We're for our schools, we're for our teachers, we're for our businesses owners. And we just want to help. We want to love our city. And today we're going to help answer a question that many of us face here in Dubai. We all live here on a visa. So it takes money to have a visa, either to buy your own and as a visit visa, or own a company, or that you have a job and the job pays for your visa. But whatever it takes, it all takes money to be here. And sometimes in life, we find ourselves having to ask the question, should I stay or should I go? And today, we're going to help answer that question. Today, we have Josh with us. Josh is a small business coach. He helps business owners make better, wise decisions. He helps people kind of start with an end in mind and really helps them think through why they're doing what they're doing. So Josh is going to help us today to answer this question. Because as a pastor, I've seen this many times where people are here, they lose their job for whatever reason, no fault of their own more than likely. They've lost their visa and now their money is starting to dry up and they have to make a decision. Should they try and invest some more money into a visit visa or to buy a company of their own, or should they just pack it up and go back home? And it's a tough decision to make. And I've seen a lot of people get stuck here. They eventually decide to stay. It doesn't work out in the end. And I've seen quite a few people go to jail because of it. Because living in Dubai, if you don't pay your debts, then you go to jail. So we don't want you in that situation. We want to help you make smart, wise decisions before you ever get there. So Josh, thanks for being here and really helping us.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice do you have for us?
Well, I mean, that's a great question that you started with. Do I stay or do I go? And that kind of brings me back to me. I'll start with me first, because that's a bit of a difficult question for me, because I was actually born and raised in Dubai. And there's actually a whole generation of us that exist here.
Yeah.
And very recently, I was asking myself that same question. Do I stay or do I go? And a lot of factors were pointing to me going, but the question was, where do I go? Because anywhere I go, whether it's home or whether it's any other country in the world, it's pretty much a restart for me, because Dubai, the UAE, is home. And it's been a journey, as I'm sure a lot of people watching this video are on as well. And I guess there's no real right or wrong answer when it comes to that question, because whether you stay in Dubai or whether you go or whether you leave to another country is dependent on so many different factors. And let's start with staying as an example. As you said, you do need a visa, you do need money, you do need a bunch of other things to be in this country. And I guess a simple way to look at it is, are you able to make those things happen in the right and legal way? Are you able to make money, and are you able to have a visa, get a visa to stay here the right way? And if that is a possibility, then that is sort of what might work. Or the alternative is going back home. And here's the thing: a lot of people see leaving Dubai as something that they tried that failed. Or almost like failure. And one thing is for sure: whether you choose to stay, whether you choose to go, whatever it is you do, life doesn't end. That's not the end of it.
Right.
Life goes on, whether it's here in this country, whether it's in your home country, whether it's anywhere else in the world. And I guess the decision really lies with, where do you see yourself continuing that journey that you're on?
I would say it's definitely, especially right now with COVID happening, it's changed everything. And so now, it's definitely, I'm sure people kind of feel like it might be a failure, but it's just the time that we're living in is just not the case. So many people have been affected by it.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary circumstance, an extraordinary situation that we're currently in.
It is. And the thing is, like a lot of people's jobs, a lot of people's lives have been affected. But you have to remember, at the end of the day, every job, every employer out there is made up of people like you and me. They're just people, and they're afraid and they're scared, and they're trying to make the best decisions for them as well. And sometimes those decisions look like people not having jobs anymore, or sometimes those decisions look like pay cuts, or those decisions seem unfair. But at the end of the day, people are just trying to look out for themselves and for their businesses. And I guess what's really important in this time is to remember that things are going to be different. Things are going to change. Some things might work in your favor. Some things might work against you. But at the end of the day, who you are doesn't change, right? You decide where your story goes and how it continues. This is not the end. And also remember that if we're going to be in this together, it's also remembering that all those people that are making tough decisions that affect you are in the same boat as you, just from a different point in life.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for everyone.
It definitely is. It definitely is. So what kind of advice would you give to someone? So they're here, they've lost their visa, or they've lost their job. Either their visa's about to run out or it's close to, and they have a little bit of money but maybe not enough. Like, what's some advice you could give to help people make decisions of okay, I think I should maybe consider going back, or I should consider staying? What are some options that you think people should be looking through?
Okay. I think the first thing, which is the most important, is being able to live within your means. You've probably worked up to this point, or up to the point that you stopped working or lost your job, or you've got some sort of finance with you, you've got some sort of money in the bank or in your pocket or in your wallet. And I guess the first thing that you would want to think about is, how do I live within my means? And you follow that up with, am I able to do that in Dubai while continuing the search for a new job, or a way to stay here by getting a business visa or getting a new job? Or is that something that I can do better in my home country or in a different country? That's the first thing that I would look at, is, am I able to live within my means? Because the last thing you want to do is start to get into a cycle of debt where you're living outside of your means. You're living off of someone else or off of a plastic credit card, which is the worst thing that you do not want to get into. So I guess the first thing that you would need to look at is, am I able to live within my means? The next thing you want to look at is, how do I sustain that? Because the money that you have right now, your finances are limited. Obviously, if you're not working, or because of the economy, you don't have more finance coming in. So the next question is, how do I keep that moving? How do I sustain that? And that could look like either looking for a new job. It could look like, if you're a business owner, it's going out and doing something different to find new clients. Maybe, it's in your bones to maybe start a business, which, is a whole other topic. It's not necessarily the answer, but it's about, how do I keep my bank balance moving? How do I keep it afloat? And that will kind of really, give you perspective on staying in Dubai, because looking for jobs, not just in Dubai, but pretty much all over the world, is hard. Unemployment is a full-time job at the moment, and it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of dedication to, to kind of find your footing as to, something that is stable and something that can help. So the first thing was, find a way to live within your means, find a way to sustain the finances that you have. And the third thing is kind of, don't look at whether staying or going is the final answer. Look at kind of the impact of that decision. A lot of people make decisions based on what's going to happen now, or the reward that they're going to receive now, or the risk that they're going to face right now. But let me challenge you to change your perspective a little. You live for two people. You live for yourself right now, that's watching this video, and you live for you, that's going to have to live with your decisions, your future self. What do you think your future self is going to be okay with or happy with based on the decision you make now? And that's kind of a good place to start at. Where do you see yourself in the next year, in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? If you obviously have this ideal of, I'd like to be in a good place, that my finances are okay, I have a home, I maybe have a family, I'm in a good environment. Kind of everyone wants that. Right. But in this moment where things are hard, you've got to kind of think, okay, how do I survive? What does my future look like after surviving? And if that future looks like being in Dubai, working, kind of rebuilding your life and finances, then you kind of know, okay, my next step is, I need to stay here, I need to do what's possible, do the hard stuff, look for a job, go door to door, apply, get my resume in order, connect with people, whatever it takes. Or if you see that future looking like, I'm back in my home country with my family, or I'm in another country, then that kind of gives you an idea of, okay, maybe I need to start making my way out. But again, there isn't really one answer that you should stay or go. It really depends on where you see yourself going and what your life looks like and what you want your life to look like, essentially.
Yeah, it sounds like something that you would tell a business client. It was you kind of begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
So kind of look to the future and say, okay, this is where I want to be. Well, if I want to be there, well, how do I get there? And I think for me as a pastor, that even applies to me. I do the same thing, thinking about church and where do I want us to go as a church. Well, Josh, I thank you so much. I think that's been really helpful. Is there anything else that you could think of that you would like to share with us?
I can think of a couple of things, but I'll try and keep it as short as I can. I think the first thing is don't give up. Wherever you are in your stage of life, don't give up. Because like we said in the beginning, this is not the end of the story. This is not the end of life. Yes, things are hard. Yes, things are difficult. The struggle is real. We all know it. But don't give up. Don't give up. That's the first thing. The second thing that I would really challenge you to do is surround yourself with people that value you as an individual, but can also hold you accountable to the things you want. And that involves you being honest with yourself, but also being honest with the people around you. Let them know what you're thinking. Let them know what you're struggling, but let them know what you're going to do about it as well. And let them hold you accountable to it. That's really important. And get people's perspectives, because there might be things that other people can see that you don't in the moment. When things are hard, we kind of tunnel vision. We don't really see what's going on around us.
Yeah.
The third thing is, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, is visualize the future. Work with the end in mind. Pick a point in the future where you see yourself and you're happy and you're at an ideal place in life, and kind of work backwards from there. Create a roadmap for yourself where I'd like to be here at this point in a year or in 5 years. So it kind of helps you take the next step, which is kind of where I'm going with this, is take steps. Don't stop. Don't, like I said, don't give up, don't stop. You got to keep moving. And while you're moving, remember, do not play the victim. Stuff is going to go wrong. Stuff is not going to be in your favor. Stuff is not going to be good. Don't play the victim. Don't be the victim to stuff that's happening around you. Instead, be the victor that says, despite something that's happening that's not good or is negative or it's not working for me, here's what I'm going to do about it. Here are the initiatives. Here are the steps that I'm going to take. I'm not going to allow life to dictate how I should be. I'm going to decide what my next steps are. I'm going to be in control. I'm not going to let anything else or anyone else control that for me. And the last thing that I would probably say is don't just be in a place where you are hopeful, but be in a place where you give people hope as well. Because what you give is what you get back. And it's so important that we support each other, just like you would want someone to support you. But be a hopeful person and give hope to other people. And you'll be surprised. People will notice that. People will start to connect with you and they'll start to feel your positivity. Who knows, you might feel positive as well and give yourself new motivation to move forward as well.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I like what you said about setting a deadline and having someone to help you be accountable, because the people that I've seen that have gotten stuck in Dubai are people that have not done that.
That's true.
And they've just said, I'm going to just keep trying and keep trying. And eventually they got stuck.
That's
because
true.
they didn't set clear deadlines
That's
for
true.
themselves. So,
that's true. And that kind of goes back to the accountability part, where if you know that, as an example, you've got a month left on your visa, don't spend that month sitting at home stressing, because that's not going to do anything for you. Instead, with someone, make a plan of how you're going to make the best use of that time, whether it's looking for work, finding a way to stay in the country if that's your decision, finding a way to get a job when you go to your home country. Because when you leave Dubai, whether it's home or anywhere else, you're still going to need money. You're still going to need a means to live and survive. And you need to have a plan in place. And as Jeremy said, put deadlines in place. Put a week's deadline to get your resume together. Put a week's deadline to reach out to people and to connect with people. But also give yourself a deadline with how much money and how you're going to spend it and when you're going to do what. That's so important. And have people hold you accountable to it. That's so important.
Yeah, well, that's great, Josh. I know that you've helped many people here in Dubai, because there are probably thousands of people that are in the same position. So thank you for giving us some wise words, some wisdom, and we just really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks for being here.